Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be talking about an app, Skye.
Skye.
Yeah, it claims it can monitor your cognitive health just by, get this, analyzing your typing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the source here is, well, it's a press release from the company behind Skye. They're called KeyWise.
Okay.
And they're looking for investors.
Interesting.
So let's unpack it, see what they have to say.
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea because they're tapping into a real concern I think a lot of people have, like the impact of, modern life on our mental sharpness, right?
Yeah.
We're just constantly bombarded with information, multitasking all the time.
Oh, tell me about it.
And our screen time just keeps going up and up.
Yeah.
So, the idea of a tool that could kind of keep tabs on our cognitive health in this crazy environment,
Sure.
definitely makes you think, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they're not just targeting some small group of people, right? This press release actually points out that the digital health market is expected to reach $500 billion by 2027.
Wow.
Yeah. So clearly there's a big appetite for tools like this.
Huge, yeah.
But I think the question is what exactly is Skye and how does it work?
Well, think of it this way. It's like a fitness tracker, but for your brain.
Okay.
So Skye uses this AI-powered keyboard, and it tracks your typing patterns. Things like how fast you type, the pauses you take, all that. But it all happens in the background as you're typing, So it's completely passive.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and they really stress that Skye never actually sees what you're typing,
Right.
just the patterns.
Right.
Which, honestly, in this day and age, huge for privacy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're definitely smart to lean into that whole privacy angle.
Right.
Especially given how sensitive health data is,
For sure.
But let's get into some of the key features and benefits they're highlighting. So, for one, they claim that Skye provides what they call objective metrics of cognitive health.
Okay.
So it's not just about how you feel on any given day,
Yeah.
but actual data points about how your brain is functioning.
Gotcha. So it's not just subjective self-reporting. You're actually getting some hard data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they say the app then translates those metrics into personalized insights.
So almost like you're getting a report card for your brain, but instead of grades, you get advice on how to improve.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now, what I find really interesting is that they say Skye can even help identify, those kind of behavioral factors that might be affecting your mental health.
Yeah.
They suggest it can give you this, more holistic view of your well-being, not just spotting cognitive decline, but maybe even understanding those lifestyle things that contribute to it.
Okay, so they're making some pretty big promises.
They are, yeah.
But is there anything to back it up?
Well, the press release mentions that KeyWise has actually received $5 million in federal grants for their research.
Oh, wow.
And they've published 10 peer-reviewed papers on their work.
That's pretty impressive.
It is, yeah. Plus, they've partnered with some major institutions like UIC, UC San Diego, and the University of Michigan.
Okay, so it seems like they at least have some serious research behind Skye.
Yeah, it's not just some app someone made in their basement, right?
Yeah.
There's some real expertise going on here.
For sure.
Now, speaking of expertise, they highlight this Dr. Olu Ashilor.
Okay.
He's the co-founder of KeyWise, and this guy, he's got a serious resume.
Yeah.
Harvard grad, MD, PhD from Stanford.
Wow.
And now a professor at UIC with tons of experience in computational neuroimaging and digital biomarkers.
Wow, those are some big words.
They are.
So it sounds like they've got, the brains and the research to maybe back up what they're saying.
Yeah.
But where do we go from here? What's next for them?
Well, the press release says that they're actively looking for investors to scale Skye and make it, widely available.
Okay, so they're really presenting this as an opportunity to not just invest in a company, but in the future of cognitive health.
Yeah, it's a bold pitch.
It is, for sure.
But,
Yeah.
we've only kind of scratched the surface here. We know that it analyzes typing patterns, but what exactly are those objective metrics they keep mentioning?
Right.
And how do they, turn those metrics into actual advice that people can use?
Yeah.
Let's dig a little deeper into the technology itself and see what we can uncover,
Let's do it.
One thing that I find really fascinating about this Skye is how it kind of capitalizes on something we all do every single day, typing.
Right.
It seems so simple, but then when you think about it, it's so ingenious.
It is. It's we spend so much time typing, right? On our phones, our laptops, even tablets, I guess.
Right.
And to just turn that into valuable health data, that's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, it is. And the fact that it's, completely passive,
Right.
that could be a huge game changer for people who maybe, don't have the time or the motivation to actively use other cognitive health tools.
Yeah, like I could see that being a big barrier for a lot of people, just like remembering to use something, having to actively engage with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this just kind of removes those barriers.
Hmm.
And the potential applications here are huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about like individuals who might be worried about cognitive decline. Maybe they have family history of Alzheimer's or something.
Yeah.
Skye could give them a way to monitor their brain health proactively
Early.
without
Okay.
having to go through those expensive or invasive tests.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And it could also be incredibly useful for people dealing with, say, depression or anxiety,
Oh, yeah.
where your cognitive function can, be really affected. Imagine being able to track those like little subtle changes in your typing,
Yeah. Mhm.
that could maybe indicate that your mental health is, kind of slipping.
Yeah. I mean, like that kind of real-time data, right?
Mhm.
That could help people and their doctors adjust treatment plans much quicker, maybe even prevent a crisis.
Exactly. And the data Skye is gathering,
Right.
could be incredibly valuable for research.
Oh, for sure. Like
Right.
having that much data, like a massive data set of real-world cognitive performance, that's like the holy grail for researchers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially for those studying all sorts of, cognitive conditions.
Right.
It could really lead to like breakthroughs in understanding how our brains work,
Yeah.
how things like aging and stress, lifestyle choices, how all that impacts our cognitive function.
Totally.
Now, going back to the expertise, we talked about Dr. Ashlor and his credentials,
Yeah.
like his background in computational neuroimaging and digital biomarkers.
Mhm.
That seems like perfect for this type of technology.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you maybe like break down those terms a little bit?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
what exactly do they mean, and how do they relate to what Skye is doing?
Okay, so computational neuroimaging basically uses, computer-based methods to analyze images of the brain.
Okay.
So it lets researchers study the brain's structure and how it functions without being invasive.
Gotcha. So it's like taking a picture of what's happening in the brain without having to like actually go in there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Cool.
Now, digital biomarkers, those are basically like measurable signs of a person's health or disease
Uh-huh.
that can be collected using digital devices.
Okay.
So in Skye's case, those typing patterns we talked about, the
Yeah.
speed, the pauses, the rhythm, all that, those become the digital biomarkers
Interesting.
that reflect the cognitive function.
So they're like taking something we do every day, typing, and turning it into this window into our brains.
Exactly. Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's all thanks to AI and its ability to analyze these tiny little patterns in how we type.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Now, the press release makes it clear that KeyWise is at like a really crucial point.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the technology, the research, the team,
Right.
but now they need the money to really grow and bring Skye to market.
Yeah, they're really pushing this as an investment, not just in their company, but in the future of cognitive health.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
It is, but it's also important to keep in mind that Skye is still pretty early on, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, there are going to be challenges along the way.
Absolutely. Like, will people actually use it?
Right.
Will they, trust the technology?
Yeah, will they even know about it,
Exactly. These are all things that KeyWise is going to have to figure out.
Big time. And even if the technology itself works, is it going to be affordable? Will it work on everybody's devices?
Right.
Like, they're going to have to make sure that a lot of people can actually use Skye if they want to make a real difference.
For sure. And they'll also need to deal with all those, like, healthcare regulations and data privacy rules.
Yeah.
Those are not small hurdles to overcome.
Not at all. It's a long road ahead.
Yeah,
But the potential, it's definitely there.
absolutely.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Think bigger picture.
Okay.
If Skye actually takes off, like really becomes a thing, how could it change how we think about and approach cognitive health?
That's a good question.
All right, so we've spent this whole deep dive looking at Skye,
Yeah.
this app that wants to, revolutionize how we track our cognitive health.
Using something we all do, type in.
Exactly. And it's been pretty fascinating,
Yeah.
seeing what it could do, from those personalized insights to its potential role in research.
Absolutely. And we've talked about, the science behind it, the team at KeyWise,
Right.
and their credentials,
Right.
and even the investment opportunity they're presenting.
And of course, we also touched on those challenges they'll face, like will people use it, the whole data privacy thing.
For sure. For sure.
So as we wrap things up, let's circle back to that big question we asked earlier.
Okay.
If Skye really does take off, like it becomes as big as they think it will, how could it change, our relationship with our own minds and what it means to be, quote unquote, cognitively healthy?
Well, it really makes you think about a future where we're all just so much more in tune with how our brains are working,
Yeah, like what if we all had tools to not just understand, our cognitive strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
but to track how they change as we age, as life happens.
It'd be like having a personal trainer, but for your brain.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
You can figure out what things affect you most, like stress, how much sleep you're getting, your diet.
Right.
And having that kind of personalized insight, that's powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it could lead to a much more proactive approach to, brain health in general.
Absolutely. Instead of waiting for problems to pop up, we could be taking steps to keep our brain sharp, even improve our cognitive function.
Right, throughout our lives.
Exactly. And maybe even help us redefine what cognitive health even means.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Like, what if it's not just about the absence of disease, but like this whole spectrum of how well our brains are working, how resilient they are.
I like that, yeah. And, imagine you understood where you were on that spectrum.
Right.
And you actually had the tools to move towards, better brain health.
It's exciting, and it could totally change how we think about cognitive decline, too,
Oh, totally. Because right now we often just see it as, like, this inevitable part of aging.
Yeah, it's just going to happen.
Right. But what if Skye shows us that it's not? What if it's a process we can actually influence, That our lifestyle choices, how we use technology, like all that actually makes a difference.
It'll be huge.
It would, and it could, empower us to make smarter decisions about how we work, how we learn, even just how we age.
It's all about maximizing our brain power throughout our lives.
Yeah, and that's a pretty powerful thought.
It is.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But honestly, we've only just, scratched the surface.
Barely.
But as always, we encourage you to, keep thinking about these ideas.
Yeah, what excites you about Skye?
Right, what concerns you?
How do you think this kind of technology could shape your relationship with your own mind?
Great questions to ponder, for sure. And with that, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Skye and the future of, cognitive health monitoring.
It's been fun.
It has. We hope you found it as thought-provoking as we did.
Absolutely.
And until next time, keep those minds engaged and keep exploring.